Alright, this is vlog number 8, and for this vlog I would like to close read another sentence from Zami, and the sentence comes from page 143. I saw my mother's pain and her blindness and her strength, and for the first time I began to see her as separate from me, and I began to feel free of her. And from the structure and style of the sentence, I developed the argument that through the flowing structure and the poetic style of this sentence, we see Audre Lorde's separation from her mother as smooth and fast, on the contrary to how we would see most separations from a mother and daughter. So, when I first looked at the structure of the sentence, I divided it into sections based on the commas placed, and when I did that, I first looked at the first section. I saw my mother's pain and her blindness and her strength. And this first section is all about her mother. And this is what Lorde is seeing from her mother in this instant. She is seeing her affliction or pain. She is seeing her defect or blindness, and she is seeing her power or strength all at once. And by using comma and instead of ending the sentence after describing each individual thing she is seeing in her mother, there's more fluid style developed. And she is seeing these all at the same time. She is seeing pain and an unknowingness that was hidden by her mother's strength. Her familiar strength is still present, but now these new aspects are present when she's looking at her mother. And all these concepts challenge each other, but because of the structure of the sentence, they are mixing and intertwining to make her mother more complicated than Lorde has originally seen her all her life. And the second section of the sentence, it goes like this: and for the first time I began to see her as separate from me, and I began to feel myself free of her. So the second section of the sentence is talking about Lorde's observations about her mother in the first section. The second section of the sentence is taking Lorde's observations about her mother in the first section and using them as tools to break herself away from the woman she initially had attached to. And she is talking about seeing while she talks about her mother's blindness, to show that Lorde's eyes are opening to different possibilities, and she sees her mother as blind because she is how she always has been. And Lorde keeps using "and" in this section to smoothly describe her separation from her mother. All at the same moment that she is seeing complexities of her mother, she is not only coming apart from her, she's becoming free from her altogether, all in this one moment. And the style is poetic, free-flowing, and connected because it needs to be in order to accurately paint the picture of Audre Lorde's separation from her mother. She has been attached to her and I get the idea of being attached to her from her saying separation, so she's been attached and sort of imprisoned or sheltered, because when she says she's freeing herself, she's separating herself from that imprisonment or the shelteredness that her mother has provided her all these years. And when it's a beautiful sentence because the separation from her mother is beautiful in itself. And like when she says, I'm going to read the second part again, and for the first time I began to see her as separate from me, and I began to feel and for the first time I began to see her as separate from me, and I began to feel free from her. So she is separating herself from her mother, from the attachment that she has had all these years, and she is freeing herself. She's freeing herself to be who she is as an individual instead of just her mother's daughter or a reflection of her mother. And that's what the structure and this free-flowing structure is. Instead of just using each individual idea as a sentence, like, oh, I noticed this, she's saying all the stuff that she noticed that helped her become herself. And that's why this is such a beautiful sentence.